Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today we are working on very easy, fun watermelon coasters. So yeah, we'll just jump right in. It's super easy. You can use whatever yarn you want. Now, if you are making these with a thicker yarn, so say a DK or a chunky yarn, acrylic yarn, something that's kind of stiff, or cotton or whatever, something that's bigger, you're going to make less rounds. So I'll tell you how to do that. But if you're using thinner yarn, say it's fingering or even DK or sock weight yarn, you're going to be using a couple of more rounds. So it just depends on the size that you want, but you can adjust it depending on the type of yarn you're using. So I'm trying to make this as easy for you as possible. If you have extra yarn you want to get rid of, then this is a great way to do that. I actually have little packages for sale. They're just mini skein packages, and I'll let a picture scroll across the screen. So those are packages that are available right now with black, red, green, and eggshell white, and those are perfect for these little projects. Those are little Palestine solidarity yarns. So but you can use whatever yarn you want and have access to. So we're just going to begin. And also, if you want just to make these a little bit more firm on the back, what I did was I used some felt, and what you'll do is you will put your coaster on when you're done crocheting it, and then trace it, make a circle, and then we'll cut that out. And all you need for that, if you are good at sewing, you can stitch it onto the back, or if you want to be quick, just use some fabric glue. And so you just glue that on to the circle and then just press it on and let it dry, and then it will prevent your coasters from slipping and make them a little bit more firm. So there you go. But that's just an option. You can just leave it as it is if you would like as well. So we're going to start right now with the red. So just grab your red yarn, because you're going to need red. You're going to need some black. You're going to need some cream and some green or white, whatever you have. So let's start with our red yarn to make the juicy part of the watermelon. And if you can do a magic loop, then or a magic ring, then that's great. If you can't, then just chain 4 and then slip stitch into the first chain from the hook. But I'm just going to do a magic loop here, or magic ring. So you just grab your yarn, wrap it around your fingers, and pull up a loop here, and then you just lock it into place. And then you're going to chain 2. So if you've done a chain 4 or chain 5 and then made a circle that way, you're going to still chain 2. And this the chains will never count as stitches. That's just to help you climb up. Okay, so into the circle you're going to do 10 double crochets. So that's yarn over and then pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's your double crochet. So you're going to do that 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so once you have that, if you have done the magic ring, you're just gonna close it up. Just like that. And then into the top of the chain 2 that you made, you're just gonna slip stitch. Just like that. So you'll have 10 little circles or 10 little stitches. So for round 2, we're going to increase this. So you're going to climb up. So chain 2, and then into that same space or stitch. So just like that, just kind of tug it. You're going to do 2 double crochets. And then into every stitch around, so the 10 stitches, you're going to do 2 double crochets. So I'm going to leave you to that. So you'll have 20 stitches at the end. So just keep going. Okay, so when you're done round 2, it should look something like this. You might have one stitch here that looks like that there's a gap here, but there's not. So just slip stitch into the top chain from the chain 2, and that is round 2 done. So for round 3, we're going to increase by 1 instead of 2. So you're going to end up with 30 stitches. So to do that, we're going to chain 2, and then into that same stitch, you're going to do 2 stitches, and then into the next stitch, you're going to do 1. And then into the next stitch, 2 stitches. And into the next stitch, 1 double crochet. And then into the next stitch, 2 double crochets. Into the next stitch, 1. So I'm going to leave you to that. Just do that all the way around. So the next one you're doing 2 double crochets, and you do that all the way around until you have 30, and then you'll slip stitch into the top of your chain 2. So I'll meet you back when you're done round 3. Okay, so once you are done round 3, you will end on a 1 double crochet into the stitch, and then it'll look like there's a stitch here, but there's not. It's fine. And you're just going to slip stitch into the top of that 2 double crochet or two chains that you did, and that is round 3 done already. We are just flying through this. So round 4, we are increasing again. So just chain 2, and into that first stitch, or the same stitch that you did your chain 2 in, you're going to do 1 double crochet, and then into the next stitch you're doing 1 double crochet, and then into the next stitch you're doing 2 double crochets, and so that is going to be the pattern all the way around. So it's 1 1 2. So 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet into the next one, and then 2 into this same stitch. Okay, so I'll leave you to that. 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2. You will end with 2 double crochets in your last stitch, and you will have 40 stitches. So I will leave you to that. Okay, so we are done round number 4. Is that right? 1 2 3 4. Yeah, and we ended on 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. So we just slip stitch into the top of your chain 2 there, and we are done that round. On to round 5, which is going to be the last round for if you have smaller thinner yarn. If you have thick yarn and you think that your rounds or the coaster is already getting too large and it's a decent size already and you want to switch to the white, then you can do that. And so from here on in, you will do, when you're using your white, you're going to be doing a half double crochet. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So you'll chain 2 and then yarn over and into that same stitch. You will pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through all 3 of those. So that's a half double crochet. So that's what you're doing if you have thicker yarn and you are already onto the white sort of rind. But for us using thinner yarn, that's fingering weight yarn or sock weight or whatever, we are going to do one more round of the circle. So it'll be the same number system, but we're using our red still. So chain 2 either way. So if you're using your red still, we're just going to, into this same stitch, do 2 double crochets. So if you're using the white and you're doing the rind, you're doing 2 half double crochets. Okay, so we'll keep going. Into the next stitch, you do 1 double crochet. Into the next stitch, you do 1 double crochet. And into the next stitch, you do 1 double crochet. So that is the pattern. So it's 2 1 1 1. So the next stitch is 2 in the same stitch. So that's 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and then 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet. So if you do that all the way around for round 5, you will have 50 stitches. So, and if you're using the thicker yarn and you're doing your rind already, you will still have 50 stitches, but it will be in the half double crochets. So keep going and I'll meet you back when you're done round 5. All right, so this is round number 5 done. So we're just going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2, just like that. And we're going to do one more row or one more round of red. To do round 6, it's the same thing. If you are working with thicker yarn, you can make this your round where you do the rind, It's up to you whether it was the earlier one or if you want to do it now. So for round 6, it's still the double crochet. We're going to end up with 60 stitches, and if you're doing that with the white rind, you're doing a half double crochet. So you just do the same thing that we're going to be doing with the double. You do that with as a half double crochet with your white yarn. But yes, because this is thinner yarn, we're going to do one more round. So this is round 6, chain 2, and into the first, or the same stitch that you have your chain 2 in, you do a double crochet, and you're going to do 3 more double crochets. Just like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 4 in total, and then the next stitch you do 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So now if you're using your white yarn already and making the rind, it's the same pattern, but you're doing a half double crochet. So just keep going with that. So into the next 4 stitches is a double crochet, and then into the next stitch here is 2 double crochets, and you keep going all the way around until you have 60. You will end on a double crochet, or two double crochets into the 1 stitch. So keep going. Okay, so round 6 is all done. I think that's a good size for the juicy watermelon part. Now we're going to move on to the rind, and you might have already done that if you are working with thicker yarn. But for us, for round 7, you're going to switch to your white or cream yarn, and you're just going to make a slip knot. And I will tell you how to do the green if you're already waiting to do that with your thicker yarn. So we're going to slip or stick our hook into the top of that chain 2, and then put our white yarn on our hook and pull that through, and pull it through just like that. And that's going to be how we change our colors. We're going to chain 2. Now if you're working with thicker yarn and you think you're ready for the final round, that will be this round, I guess, for you. So you're going to actually chain 3, and you're going to do a treble crochet around. And so you're going to do you're going to have 70 stitches in your round with the green, and that's only if you're using thicker yarn. But for us, we are working with thinner yarn, so we have our chain 2 on here, and we're just going to go into the same space, and instead of doing a double crochet, we're doing a half double crochet. So you yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 of those. So that's a half double. And into that same space, you're going to do that again, so that you have 2 half double crochets into that stitch there. And then into the next 5 stitches, you're just doing a half double crochet. So if you're using your thicker yarn and you're using the green, you're doing the same thing. So but you're doing a treble crochet, 2 in this one, and then 5 treble crochets in each subsequent stitch, and then 2, 5, 2, 5, until you have 70. And so for us, we're working on the rind. We are just going to continue this way. So that's 2 in here and then 5. Once you have your 5, you do 2 half double crochets into the same stitch, and then into the next 5 is a half double crochet. So I will leave you to that. You will end up with 70 stitches. So I'll leave you to it, and then we'll be back when you're done that. So for round number 8, we have our chain 3 this time, and we are going to yarn over twice because you're doing a treble crochet this time, and you're going to do 2 of those into this same stitch. So that's yarn over twice, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And so that is your treble crochet. And then you do that again into the same stitch. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. And then into the next 6 stitches, you do a treble crochet. So that is the pattern all the way around. That will give you 80 stitches, and then you are done that round. So that will be round number 8, and you will have 80 stitches. So I will leave you to that and let you do the pattern. So it's 2 treble crochets and then 6 across, and then 2, 6, 2, 6. So keep going, and I will meet you when you are done this round. Okay, so I just finished, or I'm just gonna finish this last treble here, and then into the top of that chain 3 I am going to slip stitch and fasten off, and don't have to worry too much about weaving these in unless you are not putting a back on this. So you just pull that through, and this one you can weave in. So if you have a needle, which I forgot to tell you will be useful for the seeds, you will need a little yarn needle just to sew in some seeds, and you'll have more than enough yarn for 4 coasters in your packages if you are getting one of those, or if you have one of those. Now for the seeds, all you're going to need is your black yarn, and you're going to basically cut probably about between 2 and 3 feet. Actually, you probably don't need that much, so I would say about 2 feet. It's not too long, just about that. And you're going to take your needle and weave the yarn, or thread your yarn through that tapestry needle. And then you're just going to tie a knot. So make your yarn ends meet, just like that. And then you can just tie a knot however you normally do. So either wrap it around your fingers and roll it and pull it tight. So however you do your knots, that's what you do. And then you're just going to go through into random areas, and just, you can put do it diagonally, or straight up and down, or sideways, because seeds are always random in watermelon. So we'll just do that. Now if you are and you do it about the width of or the length of your double crochet. Now if you want to do it quite neat, then you're going to have to weave it into the back, and make sure that you're not going through the front. But because we are covering it up, it doesn't really matter. No one will see it. And you can also, if you want, you can have two sort of back to back, and crochet them together as well, so that you have it that way as well, instead of putting a backing on it. But this is a quick, easy way to do it. So just finish up your seeds. I put 6, 7, 8, 9. I put about between 8 or 9 seeds. Make sure that when you're weaving it in and out, that you are not pulling your coaster too much, and also work your way around in random areas, but do it in a sort of a circle or a round motion, instead of jumping up here and then going there, because you'll end up with a huge mess in the back. So just be kind of conscious of that, and I will leave you to that, because that's basically it. And when you're done, you just knot it, and it will look a little bit messy in the back, but we'll cover that up. So go ahead and continue with your seeds. Okay, so now that you have your mess in the back, you got your seeds done, you're just going to, you can just sort of weave that, not into the front, but just into the, shallowly into the back here, and pull it through just to make sure that it's knotted. And you do that a few times, just kind of back and forth. And then you can cut your yarn if you want to secure it. Just again, you can knot this little bit that you've cut and left behind, but you don't need to if you've weaved it through. It's just for extra security. Don't worry about the back. You will have to weave in the side, the green bit here, but then you can either crochet another one and then stitch it together so it'll be back to back, or you can use felt. So you just grab your felt and take your coaster, and then just use a pencil or a pen, whatever you have, and draw a circle around. And the circle that you have, you're going to use that as a guide, but you're actually going to cut it a little bit smaller. So if you have your circle all the way around, I don't know if you can actually see that. So there's a sort of better, so say this is your circle, you're actually going to cut, this is where you're cutting. So use that as a guide, but cut it smaller so that it's smaller on the back of your coaster. You don't want it too large. This is already cut. So you're just going to lay it on so that it's a little bit smaller around the edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just did that quickly so you can see. So then you can either, if you want it nice and neat and perfect and you want to stitch it with thread and a needle, you can do that if you're good at sewing. If you are not good at sewing like me, you can use the all-purpose sort of glue for fabric, and you just put that on. And I guess you don't need to see me put that on, and then you just lay it flat. You can put something heavy, put a heavy weight on it, sit on it, whatever, and it will be nice and firm. And then that is it. That is all there is to these projects, or this project. So you can make those. You'll end up with at least 4. You can probably get 5 out of the mini skein packages, but if you have your own yarn, you can make, the world is your oyster, and you can make as many as you want. Have fun with this project. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves and to each other. And if you've made it this far and you want to like the video or subscribe, you can do that. Every one of those little things helps. Thank you again for being here with me, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
All I want